So it's really good. I'm really happy that you guys were able to jump on with me. I know it was kind of like last minute, but you were both like willing to share some time. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, like too much of your afternoon. Obviously, like I actually just got in from training. Like I was able to come in, do a quick shower, try to make my hair look like something. It's acting up, but it's fine. So thankfully I was able to eat real quick and then jump on. So I won't hold you guys too long. But yeah, I really just want us to kind of like bounce off of each other, talk about what's going on, sort of just like a little girl chat, but also touch on some things that are important for us as competitors. Does that sound good?
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Cool. Have you guys watched Fouad Abiad's channel, his like bro chat or like Real Bodybuilding podcast, like where he has like the open bodybuilder guys on and they kind of are just like shooting the shit for like an hour?
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen, I don't think.
It's really good, actually. It's really dope because, you kind of get to see the guys outside of the gym, outside of competition, but, it's obviously always talking about like bodybuilding or what's going on. Like current events,
Mm-hmm.
So I want that for us. So why don't we just jump in and like tell me what's new, tell me what's going on, anything new and exciting. Why don't we start with you, Mo, and then I'll go with you, Asha.
What's new? Nothing.
There's a lot going on with you, girl. Because
I've just been chilling. I mean, working, with my clients and stuff. I think I've been doing this fasting now for like 9 months.
Okay.
So I've been enjoying
intermittent fasting, or what? How are you doing?
Intermittent fasting. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I stop eating at 7 p.m. and I start back at 11.
Okay.
So, yeah. You know what? I thought I couldn't either, because we're taught you got to eat every 2-3 hours, blah blah blah. But I got so tired of like building my life around food. Like everywhere I go, food. I take my food. So I was like, you know what? This would be a little good break. Just kind of. Just see, how it works. And I tried it for a day, and I was like, "This ain't gonna work. this ain't it.
I ain't gonna be able to do it. Like, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it."
Yeah, I was like, okay. But then I was like, okay, no, just fight it. And then I had someone help me with it, like what to do when this happens, blah blah blah. Blah. So I stuck with it, and I kept on going. I liked what I was seeing, and I just stuck with it. I got used to it.
Okay, that's what's up. And you're a trainer. You do have clients. Like you train clients. You do online. You do online clients, in-person clients, like training clients, lifestyle clients, and posing clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All of that. Yeah. I stay pretty busy. The season's picking up for it now. It goes kind of dead, like I'll say after September, and it starts picking back up about February. Yeah. Now. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. What about you, Asha?
I'm in
Asha, wait, real quick. Yeah. Let's just, and for the people out there that are watching, right? Pronounce your name. Is it Asha or Asha?
It's technically Asha, but
Asha.
I will answer.
Okay, so short A.
Anything that sounds near that, I will, answer people. So.
Okay, cool. I think that's really important because we do have some competitors with like really unique names, and even though like you would see your name, you're like that's easy to pronounce, just pronounce it. It depends on like where you're putting the pronunciation or the you know what I mean, like the
right
the. So tell us what's been going on with you. What's new and exciting?
In the off season now. Not to be like a Debbie Downer on it, but dealing with some health issues that are, impacting my physical fitness. So I haven't trained since December. And I'm rapidly losing weight. It's like so sad. Okay. But working, trying to stay busy doing other stuff, enjoying life outside of training, as much as I can. So that's where I am right now.
That's cool. Yeah. So you were in the Olympia last year. So 2022, you went back to you got back to the Olympia off of the Savannah Pro win, which we were there together. That was actually a really good show. I had a really good time.
It was.
And you haven't been training since December. So it's sort of like after So the Olympia was in December. Was it December 18th?
It was
17th, something like that. Yeah, it was that weekend.
Yeah, it was the 18th, yeah.
And so you haven't been training since then. You've been sort of doing other life stuff. Are you doing any sort of like physical therapy? Do you have a specific approach to how you are, addressing the physical issues or the health issues for you?
No, I'm not doing any PT. The issue I have is I developed it's technically called an autoinflammatory, but it's like an autoimmune skin disorder where I get these really large, painful like bumps, not to get too gross. But I get them like on my upper thighs and stuff like that. So it affects the way that I walk, how I sit, and move around. And they're extremely painful. So like dealing with the pain and then dealing with my doctor to kind of find a way to manage this, because there is no cure for it since it's autoimmune. Finding just the right therapies and treatments. So I've been going through a lot of that. Since stepping off the Olympia stage. It happened during the season. And I was able to finish the season with like it being in a relatively kind of mild stage, but after the season it just like took off and it really kind of debilitated me, really, because we're used to going and going and going, and we can do anything and everything, and now I can't even like walk properly, and it's been like
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's something to deal with.
For sure. And I think that's also maybe a topic we can get into, just about, as competitors, the things that we have to go through off stage, the things that we have to deal with as residual effects from training, or not even just training in itself, but constantly being, in this stressful state, you know what I mean? This state of stress, the high cortisol levels and things like that. Like, I know that people might be a little more familiar with the term autoimmune, because I know like Chris Bumstead, he, shared his struggles with his autoimmune issues, his disease, but like nobody knows exactly what that is in terms of the particular person. Like I think it affects maybe everybody differently, and also depending on what exactly it is. But I know that he does like ice baths and stuff. Is it something that has to do with like the stress levels in your body, or is it just different for everybody?
It is different for everybody. For some people it's more stress, for some people it's hormones, for some people it's food. Mine came about during prep, so I don't think food was an issue. I wasn't eating anything that was like pro-inflammatory. It was chicken, rice, and vegetables, pretty much.
Right.
The holy grail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken, broccoli, and rice. So
exactly.
That kind of narrowed it down to the stress, which, definitely we all know is up during prep, and the hormones, which, are kind of thrown off during prep too.
Absolutely.
And I think that now that I'm out of the season and I've had time to kind of calm down with everything, life and whatever, I think it's kind of leveled off from kind of ramping up. So for me, I think it's more of the stress that affects it, and the change in hormones versus food for me. But other people, like, they can't eat certain things.
Sure. No, I totally get that. I'm digging all the medals and everything like that. I still haven't figured out a place to put all of my you know what I mean? My accoutrement. Cool. But that's dope. Right? And where are you located right now? Are you in Texas? What part of Texas are you in?
Yeah, Houston,
Texas. H-Town.
Yep.
Okay. And Mo, you're in South Carolina?
I'm in bumfuck Egypt. Yeah. Pretty much.
Easter blip. Like,
whoopsie. Yeah. I'm in South Carolina.
Okay.
Greenville, yeah.
Cool. Greenville, South Carolina. Trey's down there too, right? Is Trey still in Greenville?
He goes back and forth to Florence.
Okay.
Greenville. Yeah. Okay. He's here today. Yeah.
I need to get down to visit you guys. I need, Team Hodge needs to link up.
Right.
Wait, and honest to God, I didn't do this on purpose, but like Asha, you're working with Trey. Mo, you've been working with Trey. I've been working with Trey. We're all working with Trey. So big shout out to Trey Hodge, right?
I know, right?
Right?
I know, it's like a little family reunion.
Yes.
This is the Hodge episode. That's what I'm gonna name it. The
Hodge episode.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? For me, I've been So my last show was the Rising Phoenix, right? So I did 4 shows last year. The Chicago, and then Tampa, and then pushed through to Savannah, and then also pushed through to Phoenix. So I totally understand what you mean by like the stress and like, you know, obviously like the stress levels and the hormone levels. Like going into the season, I was really confident. I was really happy with where we were. And then sometimes your body just sort of like backfires on you, right? Or you make a decision that you think is in your best interest, and your body's like, bitch, go sit down.
Exactly.
So it was definitely a season of lessons to be learned. But, you know, I'm excited for 2023. Obviously, you know, you got to take your health very seriously. You know, you got to do what's best for your body and your health, mentally and physically, and everything like that. Do you have an outlook of when you want to start back training? Do you plan on taking like an extended off season, or how's that looking for you? Where's your mind at more than anything?
It's challenging, definitely mentally, because I mean, even just going into an off season is challenging mentally because we're used to like go. But to go and stop, and then you can't, you know, you're just not able to go when you want to is, you know, a real challenge. So mentally, you know, I'm lucky I have my husband to kind of really support me and help me with that. But I think I'm handling it fairly well. As far as the future, I mean, I think it really depends on when I can get a lot of this stuff to go into remission, I think, before I start hitting the gym. Like I plan to start this month, and then I was like, no, I won't be able to. And anything, I even kind of worked out my workout where I don't have to like do a lot of crazy leg stuff or sit a lot, because just standing up and sitting is painful for me and challenging. So I did, you know, planned out more arm stuff, but hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to get back to the gym. One of the treatments I'm considering is surgery. So that may push things back. Yeah, they go in and take out a lot of the troubled like skin areas. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on that really I have to consider when I'm, you know, coming back to the gym. I'm not going to be competing in 2023. I don't want to add that stress on myself right now with dealing with this, because right now would be the time where I'm thinking about getting started on prep, you know, and picking a show. And I've got way too much to deal with right now to kind of think about a 2023 season, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, but that's good. I mean, you were competing. I mean, you competed back to back. Wait, 2022 you competed. 2021 you didn't compete. Or you did one show 2021.
Yeah.
You did one show 2021. So still, I mean, even one show in this season, it's still, you know, a lot on the body. So I think, you know, for women in particular, it's a lot different than the men's side, you know, and the men can get into this a lot earlier, and they're in it, you know, when they're a lot younger.
Right.
And for women's bodybuilding, in order for you to have a really significant impact as a women's bodybuilder, we're in this like later in the game. You know what I mean? Like it takes us, you know, we have to have put in a lot of time. So I think I was seeing, I think I saw a post on Instagram. I think Female Bodybuilding Channel did it. And like the average age of the female bodybuilder is 40.
Yeah.
You know, where you're looking at some of the younger guys and they're in their 20s, late 20s, 30s, right? Like the oldest guys there, they're like, oh, is he on his way out? They're like 35. And I'm like,
right? Yeah.
You know, but some of the smaller divisions for women, I think it's a beautiful thing because, you know, they don't need so much muscle. You don't need so much time in it. So bikini, figure, you know what I mean? I think as the more tissue you have to put on to be competitive, obviously the older you're going to be. And then, you know, sometimes the age works in our favor.
Yeah.
But taking all of that into consideration, you're going to run into different health issues. You're going to run into different things that are going on with your body. And I think that that's the most important to take care of so that we can have a sustainable career.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, we need to be a little more accepting of people who are taking time off or taking time away from the stage to take care of the body so that they can come back.
Totally agree.
You know,
totally.
You were out of competition for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
It's been
it's
2
been
years.
2
It's
years.
been
It's
2
been 2 years
years.
already. Oh my god,
It does
goes
go
by
by
so
fast. I
fast.
know. Those months, the days just keep rolling, the months just keep rolling, and here we
They
are.
do. We're already in February. You know, it's
It's quite
February, and
disrespectful if you ask me.
seemed like we just had right. I'm like, we just
Oh,
celebrated New Year's
Girl,
Eve.
and when I tell you I celebrated New Year's Eve,
Yeah,
I celebrated New Year's.
I saw, I saw
You
that.
saw
I
that?
saw
You saw that?
that.
Some of them clips I had to take off real quick because I was like,
I
man,
was
I don't
like,
know. I had to roll it back.
you had a ball. You had a ball.
oh,
I was
Girl,
living through you, girl. I was
when
having
I
fun
tell
too.
you, the next day I woke up, got to the gym,
oh
and
wow.
people were like, what is wrong with you? I said, I had a great night. Let's go.
Let's go. Wow,
You know?
that's awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Um, what do I plan on doing this year? I plan on being a better
Amen.
me, a better version of
Okay.
myself. Yes, and giving God the
Praise
glory.
him.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't really thought about a show or
Okay.
anything. I enjoy at this moment in my life. I'm enjoying helping
Okay.
others get there. Um, I just said I wasn't gonna just say I'm gonna
Mhm.
retire right now. I just said I'm gonna let my body tell me
Yeah.
what I need to do, and of course God. Um, but yeah, I'm just listening to my body, letting it take a break because I've been doing this
Yeah,
since
girl. You've been
'99.
in it. You've been in
That's a
them
long
trenches
time.
too.
So yeah, I got the ad and I was like, wait a minute, it's time
That,
for us to sit down for a little bit,
sit that down. Sit down.
Yeah,
Sit
just a
down.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but that's
so I
good,
sat
right? I
down.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're gonna run into people from two different schools of thought, and they're gonna think, if you have this potential, if
Mm-hmm.
you have this ability, if you have this gift, you should, just you sort of ride it till the wheels fall off. But we're all human
Mm-hmm.
beings, and like maybe our goal, and really, to be honestly, the geography of the competitive scene is not really made with women's bodybuilding and the women's competitive condition divisions
Mm-hmm.
at the forefront or at the helm. You know what I mean? It's not created, really with our best interests at heart in a sense. And I think
Mm-mm.
it's getting better. I can recognize that it's getting better, and I think that we're getting a lot more recognition and opportunities. But you're human. The amount of work that it takes for a woman to be a bodybuilder is significant. It's like drastically different than what it takes for a man to be a bodybuilder. And like, yes, this is something that we
Yeah.
chose to do, but at the same time, we have to balance obviously like being a mom or being a wife
Mm-hmm.
or being, just a regular natural human being, a woman who has to juggle all these things because we don't have as many opportunities for the endorsements and the sponsorships.
Exactly.
So we're
Yeah.
still working jobs,
Right, right. I was gonna say work too, because most of us have
Yeah.
to work.
Pretty
work, and I
work.
get that. So
Yeah.
I want you guys obviously to take the best route for you in terms of taking care of your bodies. And like
Mm.
once you're a pro bodybuilder, to be honest, that stage isn't going anywhere. If you decide to come back, whenever
Yeah,
you decide to
that's
come back,
true.
Right.
where it makes the most sense for your body, the stage is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel the same. And like you said earlier, the men and the women, we have a lot on us. And as you got to naming it, I was like, you know, I'm not taking anything away from the guys, because they work really hard too. But we have a lot of things going on with us. So,
Mm-hmm.
hormones, kids. If you marry, you got, other people we have to tend to.
Yeah.
Men really don't have to do that. They're supposed to be a provider, just as long as they have their money coming through. But we have to be the nurturers. We have to be these other things. And so it does make it a little
That's
bit more
true. And you
difficult.
have a daughter, right? How old is your daughter? Is your daughter 20, 21?
She's
24?
24.
Gosh, they get old quick,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah. They do. They do. And I'm like, wait a minute. So that's making
That's
me
Yeah,
right.
that's
younger?
That makes you
exactly what
Yeah,
younger.
happens.
That makes you
yeah,
younger.
that's it.
Yup. And I noticed
Yeah,
she's getting
but
into
yes,
to training with you a little bit. I saw a couple of posts that you guys were in the gym.
Yeah, she I used to bring her, of course, to the gym with me all the time when she was growing up. And as she got older, she kind of like I don't seen enough of that. But then, when she got to her 20s, she was like, okay, I wanna do something. So I helped her out a little bit. Yeah, so she's
you gotta
doing her
raise
own
them
little
up
thing
right.
now.
Yep.
Hopefully my kids come out doing,
Right?
squats and deadlifts out the womb. I want their first step to be a squat. Like
Walking lunge.
right, walking lunges.
Walking lunge.
Just pop them suckers out doing burpees and shit.
Yeah. Oh my god!
You think I'm joking?
I know you're not. That's why it's funny.
Ashley, you have a couple babies too, right? You got some fur babies.
I got fur babies. I've got 3.
Yeah.
Those are my girls.
Oh, they're all girls. Yeah, you talk so highly of them, and I know that they're big. So I don't do big dogs. The pictures that I've seen, I don't do big dogs.
Yeah,
and even though you guys have offered for me to come visit and for us to train together, I'm like, that depends on where the dog's going to be.
They're spoiled.
Right. And your husband is really active too, right?
Yeah, he is.
Your husband's really active in your career, and I think that's so amazing because he's super supportive. He's like hands-on. He's like in the mix. Was that there from the very beginning, or is that something that he kind of like grew his way into, through the relationship?
No, he was like that from the beginning. When we first got together, I was competing in women's physique, and he kind of our first years together, or first year I would say together, he was kind of, took a back seat, but definitely an interest in my training and competing and stuff like that. And I think when we moved in together, he's like, you're going to go to the Olympia. And I had never been to an Olympia. I was like, okay, whatever you say.
All right.
He's like, I'm going to help you get a good coach. I'm going to help you, train, get anything you need. So he actually like reached out to my coach Shelby at the time, and got me hooked up with him. He's in sales, so he like loves doing people stuff. So, he's always been super supportive. And it's helped a whole lot. I mean, when I go to shows, a lot of us have long distance coaches, so we don't have a coach there. He becomes he's like, I call him my assistant coach. He's like the middle.
Sure.
He'll tell coach stuff that I won't. He's like, you should tell, Trey this. I'm like, no, it's okay.
Nah.
Next thing you know, Trey said, I was like, okay. So he's been great.
Yeah. No, I recognized that at the couple shows that I saw, that we were at together. Specifically, like obviously like the Savannah show and then Rising Phoenix. And I just think that's something that maybe, our partners don't get enough credit for, or we don't get enough credit for when it comes to selecting certain partners, because it's so difficult to compete as a bodybuilder, especially a women's bodybuilder. I think obviously for the open guys, some women think that's like a catch, right? This big bodybuilder. I think it's definitely, everybody has their taste, because not every woman likes the, the big over muscular guys.
Right.
But the women in their lives, they wind up becoming sort of like part of their team too, right? They're cooking their meals or making sure like their gym bags are packed, or coming in and they're recording them in the gym. And a lot of times we don't get that as women's bodybuilders. Like we don't get that as female competitors.
Right.
It can be off-putting for some guys, obviously. I mean, obviously everybody has their own takes, but it's difficult to date, as a women's bodybuilder, because not everybody gets it. Not everybody thinks it's feminine or whatnot. So it takes a really strong guy, a strong mind, a strong spirit to actually be in it and involved and also knowledgeable, because he's not just in there like tagging along. Like he knows your meals, your macros, your lifting. Like we were talking, and he knows a lot of that stuff. And I think that's so helpful, because on top of us just having to do everything that we do as a woman, doing our, being there and managing our competition, navigating the competition itself. Like you said, we don't always have a coach on hand. So we're managing our makeup, our hair, our competition suits, our tan, our food, transportation. So to have somebody there, man or woman, I think that's super helpful, especially somebody who's so close and knows because they're there, you know, like while you're home.
Basis. Yeah.
Yeah. So big shout out to your husband, because I think that's dope.
I will make sure I tell
Right?
Yeah.
Make sure you tell him that. That's right. And tell him we don't have to talk about OnlyFans too, because I know he manages a lot of different things.
He does.
And a lot of different platforms. So I need the sauce. I need the tea. I need him to give me the tips
your way.
I need the tips and the tricks. So while we're on that subject, actually, you know, obviously, like for as competitors, you know, there's a lot of different things that we have to get into. Do you find it helpful? Any other platforms particularly helpful for you as a bodybuilder to be able to manage all of the things that you do, to like juggle all the balls that you juggle as a competitor? Or do you basically just stick to work, training, and that's it?
I pretty much do work, training, and food meal prep. That's,
yeah.
You know, I try to stay out of any extracurricular stuff or extra stuff. Like if there's time, you know, we'll play golf or, you know, something like that. But like, you know, life gets pretty boring during prep.
And it has to, right?
Yeah.
But you're a golfer. Mo, do you have any other hobbies like that? I love that Asha's a golfer, because I like love golf. I just got into it a few years ago.
Oh, we're gonna have to play.
You're gonna have to help me with my swing. You're gonna have to help me perfect my swing.
You gotta be really patient for that, because I went to Top Golf and I was no good. So I was like, you know what? It's just like this little ball that you got to hit that way, and this more power to you. I feel like a person that's good at that, wow, because like I say, you have this little ball that has to go. Anyway, there's nothing. Let's see.
You do
I like to dance.
You do like to dance, and you're really talented at it too.
I like all types of dance. African. I like country line dancing. Like, it doesn't matter. Just music. I just feel like music is just like a part of me. So whatever, when it come on, my body just moves to it.
Were you a gymnast growing up, or just in other sports?
Absolutely not. No.
Get out of here.
Mama didn't go for that.
Tell me about that. So you grew up really
We went to the library. Oh yeah, library. And
so how'd you get into bodybuilding?
I know, right? Actually, so my parents bought me some weights. They did buy me weights when I was like 14, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna have some big arms when I get older. You know, so I was in a gym at the age of, I think, 18 or 19. And it was a coach there. And they were like, have you ever competed? I was like, what is that? So they schooled me on it, got me ready for it, did my first show, did figure and bodybuilding at the same show, won both of them.
Get out of here.
Just goes to tell you how it was back then. Yeah. So I got hooked. Yeah, got hooked from there.
And that was 99. That was your first show, 1999.
Yeah, 99.
Gosh,
yeah.
Figure was out in 99. Why didn't I feel like I didn't realize that.
They had two pieces, the one piece.
Okay.
And the two piece. Yeah, so we had to get both of those.
Just another expense that we as women have to.
Right?
It don't stop. It don't stop, right? We were just having this conversation. So I did another episode, but we were talking about, you know, all of the expenses for women's bodybuilding compared to like men's bodybuilding or some of the other divisions. And it's like, for as much as they require us to do, right, to meet certain standards, right? Like, we don't get enough of that reciprocated in terms of like the recognition or the points or the opportunities. And I just think that that's, you know, it's really a shame, because, you know, it already takes so much to compete as a woman. So then, you know, that on top, and then it's like just another layer of, you know, standards that we have to meet that also work as barriers against us, you know? And you can take the best bodybuilder. She could be like the most amazing body, the most amazing physique. But if the hair and the makeup and the presentation, quote unquote, all these like super subjective things aren't there, you know, she's not going to get the best score. You know?
Yeah.
So I think we have to do a lot more to, like, you know, I don't know how we even that playing field, but just bring some more awareness to that. And also just connect as bodybuilders, as competitors, to keep holding each other up and supporting each other. And that's the one thing that I did notice about us backstage. Like the camaraderie was amazing at Savannah, Asha. The camaraderie was amazing. Yep. Like regardless of how each person felt about their showing, I think we just had a really good time and we connected. And I think that's something that even the girls coming up today should look forward to, right? Yeah, but it is something that we personally intentionally do. Like I'm backstage, I'm cracking jokes. I'm like, look, at this point, we're here now, right? I'm not going to stress out about it. I might not be exactly, perfectly happy with how everything looks, but we're here now. So like, run me my donuts.
Right.
We stand back there doing TikToks and jumps.
Right. Right. Yeah. You're having fun with it. You're having fun with it. You got to have fun at some point because it's it's a lot. I was telling someone the other day, like, because, you have two type of people. You have an athlete that really focused and zoned in on what they're doing, getting ready for a show. You have the athlete that they'll still go to the parties and do the stuff. I can't do that. I mean, to me, it's hard because I feel like I have to stay so structured and everything routine. And because at the end of the day, I don't want to be to where I'm like, okay, I got that place because I didn't do this or I didn't do that. So it's just for people that can balance the other activities and have fun during that, I congratulate them. But me,
that's
right. Boring.
No, and everybody's different. Sure, everybody's different, right? Yeah. We have our own way of processing, and our own way of getting to a show and like finding our balance or staying grounded, right?
Right.
Sure, Asha, I'm sure like obviously your husband probably plays a big role in that, but do you have any sort of like rituals or habits that you do to get yourself like mentally prepared for a show or when you're backstage at a show or, going into the whole competition sort of energy? How do you prepare yourself?
I really try not to think about it that much. You try to, sometimes you get in your own head when you're overthinking things like how you're going to do something on stage. I'm like, I hope I remember my routine. If not, I could probably wing it. Like having confidence.
Do you do your own routine actually? While we're on that topic, do you do your own routine or do you have somebody who helps you pull together your routine?
Oh, I always have somebody. I'm terrible at like creativity and choreography. I would just stand there and be like,
Facts. Facts. I would sit there and do like a TikTok dance or something, try to twerk on stage, throw up a bicep.
It would be entertaining though. They would love it. The crowd would love it.
Because I've just never been that like, flaily, very like girly girl. I've always been a tomboy. I just always grew up that way. And, obviously like, we go through stages, I think, as we're finding ourselves and kind of coming into our own. But I loved being sort of just a jock. I always had my hair pulled back in a ponytail. I wore my big brother's clothes. So they were always like extra large. They were like super baggy. And that's where I felt comfortable. And then obviously like for special events, you can get dressed up and everything. But I was just never the center of attention in that way. Right. Like I was never like, oh, the pretty, frilly, like girly girl. So like, to move our hands in a certain way. I'm just like, this is the fuck. Like, I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to do this. But I've been working on it. Like Moe did help me on a couple of routines. I've had a couple of people work with me. So I get you, Asha. You have to have somebody do it. Yeah. And then you kind of like put your own thing into it, right?
Put your own thing to it.
And Moe, you've always done your own because like you're a dancer.
I've done my own. I've had people suggest some things to me and I tried, but I mean, I just feel like, like you say, some people are comfortable with it and some people aren't. I've actually done some, just went out there and winged it, like you said. And actually, I feel like if you got the poses down pat and the song really well, you can pretty much just go out there and do that, really.
Yeah. You couldn't. She'd be like, this is my pose and this is what I'm doing. Hit those same or poses like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a funny thing.
Yeah.
Last season, me and Chelsea, we actually wound up having the same song for the Chicago Pro. And it was so funny because like we flew into Chicago, like obviously different flights because she's coming out from Las Vegas, I'm coming out from Jersey, and we link up in the airport because it's like a ride from the airport to the venue, and we were staying in the host hotel, and like we were just talking, you know, just like chopping it up, and she was just like randomly asked, "Yeah, so what's your posing song?" And I told her my song. We had the exact same song, exact same mix.
Oh my God.
They were like, no effing way. Like we had connected on Instagram probably like before that, just like talking and just like, you know, kind of like getting to know each other. But like not to the degree where we're like trading like songs or information or anything like that. And I thought it was like the craziest thing because we didn't even have enough time to like switch songs or redo our choreography, but we both had totally different approaches to the song, which was really cool to see as well. You know?
Yeah.
I wonder how often that has happened. I can imagine it's probably happened. That's not the first time it's happened, but I'm sure. You know, but it brings out your different personalities.
You know, that's why I always tell people. Go get a song, go get an old one,
right?
Because these new songs, most of the people are, you know, the newer people are using the newer songs. So, yeah.
Sure. Do you guys have any particular like inspiration when it comes to the type of music that you use for your posing routine, or like even drawing on inspiration from like training? Like, do you just go with like training, this is what I need to focus on, blah, blah, blah? Or do you have like a particular style of training, a particular style of influence that kind of like, you know, drives where you're going with your body?
For me, I think I'm more methodical about it. I don't know that I guess that's my style. You know, I treat it as work. You know, you're going in for the gym to do your job. So you want to do it the best that you can. I often
do you have like a particular ethos though, like when you train? So like when I say ethos, is it like, okay, just balls to the wall, go as hard as you can, you know, walk out of there, like you can't walk out of there, just like tire out everything, or like, you know, hitting multiple body parts multiple times a week, more volume, more load? Do you have a particular ethos when it comes to your training? Like, how do you like focus and say, this is what I'm going to do and this I'm going to accomplish it? Or does that change each season based off of what you have to accomplish?
I think it changes. It evolves during the season, depending on, I guess, how my progress goes. You know, if I'm where I should be, I think about, you know, just completing stuff as best I can. I often think about my competition, you know, like I'm going to be on stage with this person. This person's probably doing this, you know, I need to better that, you know, or, you know, work so I can look, you know, better than whoever, or my whatever body part I'm working on, you know, is going to be comparable to that person that I think is probably better than me, or, you know, will place high or something like that. So I kind of use that as my carrot almost to keep me driven a lot of the time.
Sure. That's pretty good. I mean, I think that obviously it's like you're always in a way, it's like that old saying of like, you know, there's always, while you're sleeping, somebody else out there is working. Right.
Yeah.
So kind of being prepared for, you know, what could be versus just being in your own little bubble.
Right.
What about you, Mo? Do you typically, when you were deep into competition, would you pay attention to the competition, pay attention to who was showing up at a show, or did you already have just like a framework in mind for yourself and you're just focused on what you have to do?
You know, I think I did the complete opposite. And I say that because I feel like the only time that I would think about another competitor that I was competing against is if I was tired and doing cardio. Like the early morning cardio sessions, and I'm like, oh God, I lay this one out and be like, nope, she got up and did it. So yeah, then that would push me to do that. But as far as like, I don't want to know who's. It's like I take myself, and it's probably why it's harder for me, because it's like I take myself into this spot, and it can be dark because I mean it's boring, you know. So I go into it. I don't think about anybody else. I think about what I have to do, what I need to improve on, and I feel like because if I worry about somebody else, then I feel like it's taken away from me. So I stay here, and I don't even want to know who's at the show. We're just gonna be up there, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And almost to a degree, like part and parcel with each of you a little bit, only because I tend to live my life in my own little bubble anyway. So I think it can be good and bad, because it's like good because like I'm in my bubble, so people don't have to worry about me gossiping about them. People don't have to worry about like words getting back, because I'm a really good listener, because that shit goes in one ear and out the other. Because I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna let you vent, but I'm not taking that on. I'm not taking that in, right? So in a sense, it's like living in that little bubble. So then when it comes to competition, I don't typically like look up who's going to be at the show, who's competing this year. Obviously, you kind of want to compare where your weaknesses are. So I will, get feedback from the judges, and then also say, okay, well, who does have really good shoulders? Who does have really good legs? Who does have really good, really good back? Asha, your back is like your back is perfection, right? Like just the insertions, the symmetry, the balance. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna try my best, but like there are some things that you just can't train for. Like God took some extra time, like chiseling out Asha's back, right? So like you look at that, and you look at people with like good legs. You look at like Amarji with her freaking ginormous like squat sweep and her inner thighs, and it's like her whole leg is great, So in that respect, like I look at people like that and say, and sort of like mirror my training after how I could maybe get closer to that. But I don't tend to like compare myself about like who's going to be at the show and things like that. And it can get really lonely because you go into this little bubble and it's like your blinders are on, and nothing else matters, right? And it's difficult if you don't have a whole lot of support, but at the same time, like that's my driving force. If I'm doing all of this and I'm sacrificing all of this, I'm going to do it so that it's worth it.
Right. Exactly.
And I like, I like looking at old school bodybuilders. I like looking at like some of the newer bodybuilders, even some of the girls that are still coming up. You're looking at these individuals and you're like, man, like she's stacked, or she has a good work ethic, or she has a good way about going about, her training. And I think that we can all learn from each other. But that's the beauty of the sport, is like it's so textured and so diverse, right? That you just got to figure out what works for you, like the methodical, the deep, dark dive.
I'm just being honest.
I'm like, I'm going to do my cardio. Even if that means I got to stay up all night. I got to go to this party though too. So I'm going to go to this party, and then like, I'm going to just take my workout clothes. I'm going to go to the Stairmaster right after.
Oh my God. See, but I wish I could. I mean, to me, because that's exciting, and it keeps, and I feel like that's why you don't get into that dark spot, because, you are doing other things and you can stay up late. Girl, I go to bed at like 7:30.
Now listen, I'm not a night owl whatsoever. A girl can rally. Your bitch will rally, right? So if we got plans, I'm going to rally. We're going to go out. But on a regular everyday, I'm in bed by 9:30, and if somebody keeps me up, I am a spoiled brat. I'm like not happy. I don't want to talk. I can't even don't even text me. Don't call. Why are you calling?
No,
I keep my phone on do not disturb. Everybody hates that I keep my phone on do not disturb. It only rings for the people that I have in my favorites list, because like I screen all my calls.
Yeah. But I feel like that's what keeps it, it keeps you up and going and happy. When you're in this dark spot, you like,
this is it,
sad. So, yeah. So I feel like, with someone that takes that approach, they do need to take time off, and because there's so much stuff I've missed. I can't even remember if I've ever went to a cookout.
Girl, I'm about to fly you to Jersey for our next cookout, because that's blasphemous. That's blasphemous. But you know what we do, obviously, right? We like pack our meals, or there's some sacrifice that has to happen in order for you to have that work-life balance. And for us, the work part is our training. And that doesn't shut off. It's literally 24 hours a day. It's 24/7, right? Because like Asha said, like Moe said, you're doing the intermittent fasting because you got tired of constantly thinking about food, or like Asha, you are, methodical with planning your day or planning your training.
Mhm.
So like all of these things have to be in alignment so that we can have that balance, right? But that doesn't mean we shirk off on the work part. So in order for me to also have that family part or that friends part or that, dating life, I'm going to have to either pack my meals or go get up a little bit earlier to do cardio, or carve out a little bit of time where I can step off, step away and do my training.
Yep.
But it takes that extra effort, and some of us, we don't want to put that extra effort in it, and we'd rather just be like, look, I'm tired. I ain't got time for the social life.
I'm guilty.
No, but you know what? We changed that a little bit when we were in Puerto Rico last year. We changed that a little bit.
Oh, we did. And after that, I did good for a little bit, and then I fell right back.
That's all right. It takes practice.
Yeah.
It's all right. It takes practice. We'll connect again. I'm gonna keep you up on your toes, right?
Right.
What about you, Asha? How do you practice that work-life balance?
I don't think I'm very good at it either. I tend to, when I'm in prep, just focus on eat, sleep, train, and go to work when I have to go to work. I miss things. Luckily, Brad has friends. He can go out with them. I'm like, go. But, there's not a lot of trips, you miss out on vacations and things like that. And I mean, anything we do, it's how much time are we going to be there? Do I have to have a meal, or can I eat what's there? Probably not, because it's not measured or weighed or whatever. Yeah. So you do miss out on a lot of that stuff. And I don't think I'm very good at balancing it when I'm in prep, because I tend to get the blinders on, and stay focused. And I don't do a whole lot outside of, like I said, eat, sleep, work when it's prep time.
Oh, we don't have we're gonna have to get a girls' night together. I'm gonna have to take y'all out, because this is how.
Well, we gotta be back in bed by 7:30.
Right.
That's the pregame. That's when we just pregame, and that's the party before the party.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
But that's how, to be honest, I feel like not partying necessarily, but just like that social interaction. For me individually, it's almost how I recharge. Like, I do like my alone time. I do like being zeroed in and focused. And I know that has a serious impact on my training, obviously. But without that balance of and obviously not every weekend or not every day, but I'll carve out a time where I know I can go out, even if it's with the girls and we're just going to go do a girls' night out. And I'll make sure that the time sort of fits my feeding schedule, right? And instead of drinking a whole bunch of, junk or alcohol, maybe I'm having that gin and club, because your girl does not give up alcohol. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't drink every night, but I'm gonna have me a gin and club. I'm gonna have me a glass of wine, and it's just so that you kind of got to tap back in to that zeroed in type of mindset by having that sort of relaxed amount of time, so that you don't go into that deep dark place, because that can be scary too, right? People don't like you. My mom wants to send me away to some sort of camp. She's like, bodybuilders need to have their own camp. When y'all are 6 weeks out from a show, y'all just need to have your own little dorm that y'all go to. I'm like, you want to send me away? Yeah. And I tend to have a really good demeanor. I'm not a bitch. You know what I mean? I've learned how to sort of, balance my attitude. Have you guys struggled? Do you struggle a lot when you're in prep? Obviously, we have, the prep sort of mood swings and things like that. But do you tend to struggle when it comes to how you treat people, or your demeanor around people when you're in prep? Or do you just cut that off so you don't have to deal with it, period? Mo's going to be like, I cut that off. Oh, don't be around me.
I try my best, because I love people. And I don't ever want to come across as being, rest of B face or whatever the case may be. But when you're restricted with your calories, you can't have the foods that you want and the food that your body needs. It's hard. So it's like I say, I take myself to that dark spot, because I don't want to put what I'm feeling onto other people. They're over there being happy. Why would I want to bring this blah 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 over there? So I kind of just like, at the gym, hey, how you doing? And going about my business, and that's it.
Okay, what about you, Asha?
I'm kind of like Mo. I'm not quite the people person. Even though I have to talk to people for at work. Um, but I try my hardest not to be a bitch all the time because
Mm-hmm.
you just feel like that. You're like, don't bother me, don't look at me, don't even like
Yeah.
think about talking to me. But I realized that, we already have it hard with us and our image and stuff like that. And for us to act like that makes it even
Mm,
worse. So when I'm out in
yeah.
public and things like that or at work, I try my best to like, be nice and personable
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
talk to people. But yeah, a lot of the times it's a struggle to kind of be nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something right quick. I remember getting off of the stair stepper, and as I was getting down, somebody came and approached me. Now when you get off that stair stepper, you want to punch somebody because that's what I was feeling. And they came up to me in my face, and I was like, I just had to stay there because my hands on the throw, because that's the first thing you think about. Like, oh, I'm so mad, I got to do this
Uh-huh.
cardio. So yeah, you definitely have to take it in and be like, okay, yeah, because they do have. You don't want to be like, oh, women bodybuilders, they just mean and
That's
hungry,
right.
blah blah blah. So you have to try, but it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard.
100%, because obviously, you have the emotional roller coasters, you're in a deficit, you're depleted, all that stuff. Like mentally, you're, obviously you're overweight with all of the responsibilities you have to do. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was a yoga instructor for a lot of years, probably since I want to say like 10 years. I became a yoga instructor in 2013. Have either of you tried yoga before?
I have. I used to do hot yoga.
Yes. Was it like vinyasa hot yoga or Bikram hot yoga?
No, not big. I've done Bikram, and that's like crazy. So
It
it's
is.
the vinyasa.
The
Hot yoga. Yeah.
vinyasa. Mo, you said you did or you didn't?
Uh-uh.
With your flexible ass, you ain't never
Absolutely
do
not.
no.
I mean, I did one class, and she said something about put this leg up there, and I left. So I yeah. So I like to I
Mm-mm.
like to stretch and everything, but the downward dog and all that stuff, yeah, it's cool, but not in hot. I did that. Not my
It
cup of
is
tea. It's
hot.
hot in
Everything
there.
be melting. Everything just.
Oh, girl, no,
I really like
no.
it, and for anybody who's watching this, I highly recommend it only because, not only is it physically, demanding, right, and it's also a physical release because obviously whether it's hot or not,
Mm-hmm.
you're still going to build up like that internal temperature, like you're still
Mhm.
going to build up your internal heat. But I really
Mm-hmm.
loved hot yoga for the detox effect, right?
Mhm.
So you go in there, you have the steamers and the heat going, and you're moving, and it's a moving meditation, right? So some people feel like they can't just sit still, they just can't calm their mind, they can't quiet their mind to meditate. But meditation doesn't necessarily have to be still or quiet or
Mhm.
just like don't think about anything, right? So with
Mm-hmm.
vinyasa, the whole thing is like it's a meditation and movement, and I found so much balance and so much like groundedness in my yoga practice that it really helped me when it came time for competition, because I mean I was already a competitor, but I found it right around the time that I went pro. And so becoming a yoga instructor and practicing daily, kind of allowed me to like settle in my mind and
Mhm.
kind of like recognize when I'm getting upset, or like like letting my emotions sort of get the best of me, or sort of like about to fly off the tip of the tongue kind of thing. And it just created so much space
Right.
in me,
Yeah.
right? So the practice itself was great because it was physically demanding. It pushes
Mhm.
out all the water. You will
Yeah.
lose how many pounds did you lose in a yoga class, Asha? Like 6 pounds?
Yeah. It would be like 7 or 8 pounds. Yeah. Just.
It's crazy because it literally looks like a pool of water around your mat. Um, but the room is
Wow.
also designed for that.
Mhm.
So like obviously you have your mat and your towel and everything like that. But I love the practice of yoga, like whether you're into it spiritually or just physically. Both of those avenues, like even the spiritual part, I really like because it all makes a lot of sense when you're talking about like energy
Mhm.
flow
Yeah.
and balancing your emotions and stuff like that, and just holding space for people. So you should try it, Mo. Maybe when I come visit, we'll find a class and we'll go together.
The way you made it sound, like that part, okay. Yeah, I love it. But like you turn the temperatures up, you lost.
All right, we'll do medium hot. We'll do warm yoga instead of hot yoga. We'll do medium hot yoga.
Maybe 67 somewhere in there. Because like you said, your body gets
because the temperature we'd get our rooms up to like 102.
Yeah,
like 102, 103. And my crazy ass is the one right in front of right in front of the heat machine. I'm right in front of the.
Yeah. Ooh, I wish I could,
but then how else do you sort of? I don't want to say how else do you meditate, but how else do you take time for yourself? You know what I mean? Like self-care, taking time for yourself, sort of unwinding, unloading. How do you guys do that?
I like to take baths.
Oh, sexy time. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like, because I'm into my incense and my stuff. So I create that wherever I'm at, I don't feel like I just have to, do something. I just, wherever I'm at, I create that. Yeah. I mean,
that's actually very yogic, to be honest, while we're at it. That's very yogic. Yes. It's a matter of like being present, not taking on anybody else's bad energy or energy, kind of just like holding space for yourself, holding space for others, but then also like being very aware of your energy levels, right? And like creating that within yourself, not letting, what do they say? Not letting your atmosphere dictate your attitude. Not letting your atmosphere or your environment dictate your attitude. So regardless of the environment you're in, you've sort of, honed in on how to control your attitude. So that's very yoga. Exactly. You don't even know it. See, look, you practicing yoga, don't even know
it. Well, I think that comes because I get anxiety. I've gotten anxiety a lot. So I had to work on how to create a calmness for myself in my surroundings. So
that's cool. We're going to touch on that in a little bit. Hold that thought. What about you, Asha? How do you practice self-care or meditation or just unwinding or unloading stress? How do you do that?
I think for me, it's just alone time. Like I require a certain amount of time by myself, and I'm very good just by myself. So like after work, I'll come home and put on something comfortable and just lay down and just be without having to do anything or think about anything. That really helps me kind of recharge and block out a lot of the extra things. On the weekends, it's like just floating in the pool or something like that. But usually it's like that. For me, it's that alone time that's, my quiet time, and I can kind of recharge myself.
What's your zodiac sign?
We're not alike. We're not alike.
What are both of y'all zodiac sign? I need to know because
I'm a Pisces. But me and Aisha are kind of the same though, because I'm listening to her say stuff and I'm like, dang, I'm the same. Like my alone time, like I love people, but I want to be away from them. Like it's like I saw a meme not long ago. It said, I can go out there and talk and be friendly, but I need a few days to myself.
That's true. That's true.
True.
Asha, when did you say your birthday was? What's your zodiac sign?
Sagittarius.
Yeah. Me and Sagittarius, we get along well, and two of my really good sorority sisters are Pisces, so that's why I think we connect a lot. Maybe I'm the heir.
Yeah.
Is that a fire? Is Sagittarius fire? I think Sagittarius is fire, and I think Pisces is a water sign.
Water.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But I can't swim. I can't.
Gosh, she got a whole pool. She's like, girl. Can't visit. I'm not going to be held responsible. I ain't got liability insurance.
Look, I'm black and I can't swim. Because that's that's what they say. Oh, black people can't swim. Well, yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to learn. I had to learn.
But you know what? Actually, I'm glad you said that because this is this is going to be a learning moment for everybody watching this. I actually learned the history, like that is a misconception, obviously, of like American Black people, right? But that's a misconception with African people because some of the most prominent like fishermen and sailors were Africans along the coast of Africa. I mean, think of how big Africa is, and then you think the coast of Africa, the sea trade, all of that. They were surfing, you know what I mean? They were surfing, they were fishing, they swam. Africans swam.
That's a good point.
You know, so don't let the stereotypes fool you. Because I swim, Asha has a pool.
Yeah.
Bo, we're gonna get her some floaties. We're gonna get her some floaties. We'll be all right.
Yes. Oh my God.
I got you. But I wanted you to hold on to that thought because you mentioned anxiety. And so I think that's a serious, point of the conversation that maybe we can touch on for some people that may be watching, right? Like, not only competitors, not only as women, not only as Black women, but, mental health is a real issue. Like, mental health is a thing that I think a lot of people struggle with and deal with, and maybe all in our own way. Like, maybe not everybody has anxiety or not everybody deals with depression, but these are real things that occur. And I think probably are heightened by the industry that we're in, you know what I mean? Because we're judged, there are certain standards, certain precedents, there's a certain level of like, you don't know what's going to happen. You go in and, there's, this air in the cloud or this cloud in the air. And it's just like, oh, all this work I did could be for nothing. Like, So do you feel like your anxiety was heightened in your competition, experience? Or is that just something that you forced yourself to try to manage because of competing? Or is that something that came upon you kind of new from competing? How has it impacted you in your competition career?
Well, I will say, I feel like, maybe when I did care how people felt, how I looked and all that stuff, that added anxiety. But I feel like once you're in this for so long and, you get older, you're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Who cares? I'm going to do me, you do you. And I feel like once you get to when you get in that spot to where you don't care about other people, what people say, I feel like then you can kind of we can kind of control that. Because that's all really it is. That we're worried and concerned about what other people think of us. I mean, so I just managed it that way just by not caring.
You sort of came into your own. You sort of came into your own and sort of freed yourself of that expectation of other people's expectations of you, right? I think that has a lot to do with your own self-value. Do you think? Like your own self-value, your own managing your own expectations of yourself, right?
Like validation. I always say, don't wait for someone else to validate you. Validate yourself. I mean, we don't have to get that from someone else. You should know that, So that's why I stay hard on myself, and I'm like, it's you. You have to make this happen. Can't nobody else do that for you. So yeah.
Facts. What about you, Asha?
I don't really get anxious, I feel. And until it's like right before showtime where you're trying to, pull everything together, then the anxiety comes in. But I guess I would say I'm lucky not to have, issues with those types of things, besides the normal prep brain stuff where we all kind of, I think, go through that. So, as long as I get my alone time to kind of, self-care and do all that stuff, I'm pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Have you always been like that? Like even from like a kid, or is that something that you were able to develop as you got older or sort of, matured?
I think I've always been more laid back as an adult. It's kind of something I growing up, I really admired in my dad, and I kind of made sure I modeled after that. Like just letting stuff not bother you. And I find that as I get older, it definitely becomes more important not to have stuff bother you because there's like more and more stuff coming on us as we age. So I think I do a pretty good job most of the time of, trying to keep all that stuff at bay and not have it kind of creep up and affect me mentally.
Sure. I mean, I can attest to that. Anytime that I've met you guys or we've all linked up at whether it was like a Wings of Strength event, like an ambassador, or like at a show, you two were both like the more chill people, like in the bunch. You know, some people can be really like wound up.
Yeah.
Be really like high sprung. But it helps a lot when you can connect with other competitors who are also chill or kind of like lets things pass through you. And that's also something else, obviously, that I learned. I mean, I feel like it's been in me since I was a kid. I remember when I first started experiencing yoga, like started doing yoga, and the things that the yoga instructor would say would make a lot of sense to me. And I felt like, oh, those are the words that I haven't had in all this time to like, to express it. Like, but that makes sense to me. Oh, that's what that is. And like one of the things that I learned, and I feel like it's a big staple of just how I manage my emotions and my feelings, and even just like dealing with people, is the saying that the root of all suffering is attachment. Right. So when you think about the things that we suffer from, whether it's suffering through anxiety or suffering, pain or heartache, a lot of that is brought on by the attachment to whatever that thing was. Attachment to love, attachment to fear, attachment to judgment, attachment to what those things mean. And if we can let go of that attachment and let it pass through, the one constant in this world is change. Like, it's never going to be permanent, right? Love is never going to be permanent. Fear is never going to be permanent. Anxiety is never going to be permanent. We sort of just got to allow it to pass through us. And that gave me so much more freedom. I feel like it really like liberated a lot of the things that sort of would come into my mind, or, expectations that I would have of myself or even other people. And it's like, once you realize everybody's human, we're all kind of like just operating from our own level of awareness. It allows you a lot more freedom to like not be angst, right? To not be nervous, not be consumed with other people's expectations. Because to be honest, people don't know. Like, you would think, oh, she's judging you. Like, and I'm not even thinking about you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, I'm looking completely through you or over you. And I think more people need to understand that, or sort of like embrace that, or have that as their base of operation versus the other of like, oh, so they're judging me, or they think this, or most people ain't paying you any attention. They're too caught up in their own mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
I like that. That's deep.
Sometimes, when I'm
you are. I was like, wow. Okay, yeah.
When I'm not dancing on somebody's speakers.
I know, right?
I try.
Yeah. I like that.
Now you both got you guys jumped on here today, both from the gym. Did you train today? Did you train people? Do you have, a whole lot going on for the rest of the weekend, or what's the rest of your day look like?
I just got into, actually, before here. I had some people, I had a couple people training, and then we did some posing, which I normally do on Saturdays. And I did some ham and glutes.
Getting them glutes right.
Yeah. Keeping
it tight, right? Them hams, man. I'm trying to get some. I'm trying to get some ham hocks. I need that ham to ham. I need those hamstringing. We need to be hamming. What about you, Asha?
I think we're going out for an early Valentine's later today. This evening. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl, of course. So we're having
Go Birds, Eagles. Philly, it's a Philly thing, and I'm not from Philly, but Philly is literally, I could like throw a stone from where I'm sitting at right now and hit Philly. So like the Eagles is like my home team, right? So Bird Gang all day. We're all rooting for the Eagles.
Now, I thought you lived in California.
No, I was out in California just for the last part of last year because I was training with Chris Premier. I was like finishing up the prep for the rest of the year. I was considering to make the move permanent, but they bugging. A studio started at $2,500.
Girl, I know. I did the same.
Do not.
I checked there too.
But the weather is gorgeous, and like obviously, like the people are amazing. Like it was a really good vibe. And Chris was like an amazing host, and like he put me through some really tough workouts. So I think I learned a lot, and I will be traveling back out there just to visit and like train a little bit more often. But To make that move right away, I'll probably just hold off on that. And I love Jersey. Plus, my mom, she's still recovering from her liver transplant, being sick, these last couple of years. But she's doing so much better. Like, she's so good. She's eating whole food. She's gaining weight.
Good.
So it just makes me, I just feel a responsibility to like be here, be a part of her life, be there for her, but also running the nonprofit, and just doing all the things here. So like my roots are here, I won't be making that move like not anytime soon.
Yeah, I felt the same because I had looked at, I wanted to get away, so I was either going to do Florida or California. But then, like you say, you check out the cost of living there. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I like it here.
That's
I'll
right.
Just travel there.
That's right.
Here and there.
You definitely pay for all of the, the luxury and the amenities and like the beautiful weather and the amazing food. You pay for that. So it's worth it, but you pay for it for sure.
Yeah.
So before I let you guys go, do you each want to like shout out any sponsors or any endorsements that you have, or anybody that you're working with, any companies that have been integral to your competition, or let people know how they can contact you if they're interested in like training or coaching or posing? I know that, we all kind of have our hands in the pot a little bit when it comes to that. Mo, you want to start?
Well, you can contact me at FitNeek.
Okay. And you're on Instagram too. I think all of your handles are the same, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I try to keep them, the same. So,
cool.
Yeah. If you want to contact me for whatever,
What about you, Asha?
Yeah. You can... Well, I don't provide any services, but you can check out my Instagram. And
run up the socials, y'all. Run up them socials. Go over there. Like, follow, subscribe.
Whenever I'm posting stuff, it's just Asha Hadley at Asha Hadley. Shout out to my suit sponsor, who was great last year, Angel Competition Bikinis. And last year I was also with Wings of Strength, who, a lot of us have worked with. They're always great. Looking forward to, even though I'm not competing, what's going to be coming up this season. So all that good stuff with getting back into the 2023 season.
Absolutely. Now you guys know that you heard that they're going a different way with the ambassador program with Wings of Strength. So they're taking they discontinued the ambassador program, but I think they're not necessarily discontinuing sponsoring athletes. I think they're just probably putting it in a different sort of format. Have you guys heard anything further about that?
I haven't heard any details other than that one post they made about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll let us know when it comes because obviously, like, especially as women's bodybuilders, we have to be, we have to have our presence. I think we have to continue to expand our presence, continue to be around and give our exposure and just make sure that people know that we're here. And also just to provide support, for the divisions when they're at these different shows. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure Wings of Strength, I'm sure Jake Wood and all of his team over there at Wings of Strength will keep us abreast and bring everybody something that works for, all of us to make and expand women's bodybuilding.
Right.
Yeah, definitely important.
Right. Totally.
Awesome. Well, guys, it was so good having you on. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Thanks for, sharing your story with us. And obviously, like, just kikiing. I really like us just kind of like, letting it roll, kind of like rolling with the flow.
Yeah.
It's like a little girl talk. And hopefully that gives people a little bit more insight as to who we are each individually, as people, as women, as competitors, and that they look forward to continuing to get to know us. So I look forward to having you guys back in another way, shape, form, or fashion, maybe another time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep this rolling. So we'll be seeing a lot more competitors. Yeah, for sure. And we'll be training maybe in Houston. I mean, down in, you said Houston, right, Asha?
Houston, yeah.
We'll be training down in Houston, yeah. And then I'll be traveling to South Carolina to take Mo out to party.
Yeah.
And we'll have to teach her how to swim at the same time.
Yes.
Pool party.
Right?
A pool party. Yeah. Amen. All right, girls. Well, I'm not going to hold you. It's time to eat, I'm sure, or something. I'm sure one of us is due for a nap because I know I am. So I'll be touching base with you guys real soon. And until next time, just, keep doing your thing, taking care of yourself, taking that self-care, having good sex, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Sheena.
How you gonna throw that in there?
Right,
Have some good sex. That's self care.
Self care.
All right, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.